Today I'm just doing a little video on explaining exactly what is going on with the block and what the code changes I go over in this post here is going on about. Which I showed you both codes right there. And essentially what's happening is this is what's happening. You're seeing the block duplicate itself or show up multiple times when it should actually only be shown once. And this issue is happening when you come into here and setting that block to who can view this. You have it set up to groups only, and you set it, like me, I have it set up to moderators and HSX testers. If you're wondering how I'm selecting them one at a time, you hold your left control. So you can do that. You can do that. Now if I hold left shift, I can do two. You hold left shift, you click on one, hold left shift, and the next one you click, it will highlight that one and everything in between. So left control allows you to do individuals, where left shift will go from one to all. So you start with one, there, like that. So we don't want users, so we just click that, hit save block, there you go. But even if I hit refresh now, as you can see, it still shows 2. So what is going on here? And here's the code right here. In the system, I have you replace all this code, which technically you don't need to, but to me it's a lot easier than having you try figuring out how many of these you've already gone through. So now just replace this all the way to the last one right there, and you're going to replace it with this code that I have commented out currently. So what's going on here? Well, right here is we have if is array in groups. So basically what that's saying is if this block is asking for it to be in groups. If it is, then okay, what groups? So that's what this is saying. It's basically saying, okay, is this an array? Is this set up, this block set up to be used as an array for groups? If yes, okay, let's go on. And then it's going to say for each in groups as group. Basically what that's saying now is for each one of these, we're going to give it its own specific thing. So it's going to loop through saying, okay, you're number 1, you're number 2, you're number 3, you're number 4. Depending on if you have 10,000, it will go through it 10,000 times. If you have it 200 times, it goes through it 200 times. So that's basically what that does. Then this piece of code right here will check to see if your groups, the groups that you're in, match up with any of the groups that show up here. And if it does, for each one, it's going to show the block. It's going to display the block. And that's it. So if you're in 2 groups, 2 of the groups that are selected, it's going to show up twice. It's going to show the block twice because it's looping through. So how are we going to fix that? Well, first thing what we're going to want to do is to give you a little bit better of an idea, let's set up this. We're going to go into here and let's set up a variable. We're going to set up this variable and we're going to call it CNT. Why? Because I like to use that for count. So now what we did here was we just set up CNT, the variable CNT, to equal 0. So if I echo this out anywhere right now, it's going to say 0. It's going to say, oh, CNT, that's equal to 0. So now what we're going to do here is let's do a little bit of math. I'm going to do it right where it shows the block. So we're going to do $CNT, and then we're going to add the two, do the two pluses, and basically that's going to say is now take the current value that CNT is and add 1 to it. And now we're going to echo out the CNT to see what number it gives. So we hit Control S, we save that. Let's go up here and let's hit F5. As you can see, there's 1 right here and there's a 2 right here. So it's showing up twice. The first time it loops through, it's saying, yep, you show up, we're supposed to display this block once, so yep. And that's where the count gets added. So 1 gets added to 0, so 0 plus 1 gives you 1. The next time it loops through, it says, oh yep, you're supposed to see this, so now it takes this 1 and it says, oh, we're going to have to add another 1, so 1 plus 1 equals 2. So 0 plus 1 plus 1 equals 2. And now if I went into the administration, and let's just say I selected all 3, like that, save block, hit F5, refresh this, 1, 2, 3. I feel like the count from Sesame Street, but essentially that's what's happening. Each time this block shows, it adds 1. So this is 0 plus 1, this is 0 plus 1 plus 1 equals, and this is 0 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 1, 2, 3. And that's what's happening there. So now let's get rid of this. Oops. Control Z. I didn't want to get rid of that. What we're going to do is we're just going to cancel this out. Why? Because I'm sick and tired of deleting this for every time I've redone this video tutorial. And yes, I've done this video tutorial now, or video now 5 times, because a couple of times I screwed up. A couple of times I got interrupted by somebody poking me on TeamSpeak, which I ended up getting off of. So, yeah. Okay, so the way my code works is right here. It says if in array count equals 0, which we already knew that. But instead of having up here like it had up here was saying render the block, as you can see, it doesn't render the block. It just does the count. So 0 plus 1. So whatever, this block equals 1. Or this 2, 3, whatever. And as you can see, if is array, we have the opening there, we have an opening there. So this close right here is to there. This close is to this close. So basically all we're doing here is closing the loop. So it runs the loop, and as soon as it's done running all the loop, it goes up and it says, okay, let's get the value of count. If count does not equal 0, then render block. And that's what this exclamation point and equal sign means. You can learn more about comparison operators through here, which is php.net. I'll post a link inside the forums. But here's the comparison operators. Basically, A equals B, and this is all different things. As you can see, there is the exclamation point equals, double equals, single equals. You have the greater than, less than. And I could have done all that. I mean, I could have done this as well. I could have said, is count greater than or equal to 1? And if I save that, refresh, as you can see, the count is 3, so it is greater than 1. Now, if I go up to here and just say, okay, let's go to the honeypot, and let's just say, okay, I just want moderators to see it. Save block. Refresh. And as you can see, 1, and I still see it. Well, the reason why is because it is equal to 1. Count is greater or equal to 1. And you could go that route. Me, I did does not equal 0. And we could have gone both ways. Oops. Doing a double equal like that. Normally I would write it like that. Really doesn't matter. But that's how it works. The system, all I'm doing is I'm giving the variable a value of 0. And then for each time it runs through the loop, it will add 1 to the variable. So it's count plus 1. I'm sure we could have gotten away with doing it like if we wanted to just say do something like this. $CNT equals $CNT plus 1. I'm sure we could have gotten away writing it this way. So essentially each time it runs through, it takes count and adds 1. So count starts with 0 and then we're just adding 1 progressively. We could have probably done it that way. But the cleaner and easier way is just simple. CNT plus plus. There we go. Done. So yeah, I hope this helps you understand a little bit of what we've done here, why it's doing that. And here, let me get rid of that, even though it means nothing to you because that's just on my local site. But I hope now you understand a little bit more of exactly what I've done here and why I've done it this way. Yes, there are other ways that this could have been done. I just wanted to find the quickest and easiest and most simple, direct, here, let's get that in, get it working type route. And that's what this did. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask over on the forums or inside this forum with this post. And until next time, you guys have a good one.